Om Sahanavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaveryam Karavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Discussion is on healthy attitudes and values. Attitude is an outlook that you have towards something, and a person is as good as his other attitudes. Our Krishnanandji talked about the Guru with reference to attitudes towards Guru and father and mother and father. There is famous statements, Matru Devo Bhava, Pitu Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atithi Devo Bhava, Matru Devo Bhava, meaning that when you look upon your mother as God, as a Devata. So how you worship a Devata, worship God, so also when you look upon your mother also as God. Matru Deva means one for whom the mother is Devata. So become one for whom the mother is Devata, meaning that look upon your mother as a Devata. Devata means a deity, means God. Like so many deities or devatas we have, but the sun is a devata, is a deity, moon is a deity, fire is a deity, all manifestation of Ishvara. So primary devata, deity is Ishvara, and these are all manifestation of Ishvara. So this attitude of looking upon the whole universe as manifestation of Bhagavan, God or Ishvara, and looking upon specific manifestations as very specific expression of Ishvara. So we have this concept of Devata or God or deity, where for example look upon Surya, the sun, as Devatas. Something, one is a very significant contribution in our life. Without whom we would not be what we are. Similarly also, fire is a Devata, because fire has a significant contribution in our life. Sun has a significant contribution in our life. Earth has a significant contribution in our life. All of these are called Devata, a divinity. The whole thing is divine, but still the divinity is more manifest in certain places. And that's how they become worshipful. So, when we say that Matru Devo Bhava, when you look upon your mother as Devata, that means that in mother, the divinity is specially manifest. Pitu Devo Bhava, you look upon your father as Devata, Acharya Devo Bhava, you look upon Acharya or teacher as Devata, Atithi Devo Bhava, become Atithi, even a guest also as Devata. These instructions, these statements come from an Upanishad called Taittiriya Upanishad. And there the teacher is giving this valedictory address, the parting address to his disciples. Your disciples, when you go out, how should you conduct yourself in the world? What kind of attitude should you have? And so the attitudes taught are this, Matru Devo Bhava, Pitu Devo Bhava. Look upon. Although what is seen by the eyes is one thing, but what you see in your mind's eye, what attitude you have is something different. What the eyes show is a woman, but in your mind, the attitude is, she is Devata, she is a divinity, she is God. And how will you treat God? In the same reverence with same devotion may you treat your mother. How you make offerings to your God, similarly you make offerings to your mother. And teacher also is included because these are the ones who have significant contribution in our life. So in our culture, the guru or the teacher is a very revered person. This morning we explained the word guru is made up of the two letters gu and ru, where gukara stundhakara way. The letter gu stands for andhakara or darkness of ignorance. The rukara stundnivartaka, the letter ru stands for that which dispels darkness, meaning light. And light stands for knowledge. Andhakara nirodhitva guru nitya vidiyate. This person is called guru because he dispels the darkness of ignorance in the heart of the disciple. Thus, a guru has a very significant contribution. Mother, of course, has a significant contribution. She is the first guru. The first guru, first teacher is mother. Not only she brings forth the child into the world, the parents do that, and that is a great contribution. And mother is the first teacher, father is the second teacher, and what we call acharya or teacher, guru, is the third teacher. That's the reason why all the three are revered in our culture. This reverence, the Vedic culture, the reverence is something very unique. We just revere a person who is elder to us. We revere the age, is called a Vayo Vruddha. The person who is older than me in age is revered. Person is Jnana Vruddha. A person who is greater than me in knowledge is also revered. Tapo Vruddha. A person who is greater than me in terms of tapas or austerity or penance, so that also becomes revered. Then the age does not matter. Even though a person may be very young and still much more evolved than I am in terms of knowledge, then I revere that person. Person much more evolved in terms of the penance or austerity, I revere them. So reverence is an attitude. Reverence is an attitude which is very unique to the Vedic culture. And what does reverence do? Reverence opens a channel. So a student not only looks upon the teacher, the person who teaches me, but looks upon the person with reverence. And with reverence, a channel is opened. I place myself in a position where I am ready to receive the knowledge. Because I revere the Guru. I have a sense of reverence, a devotion, Shraddha, the faith or the trust that he is a person who knows what he is talking about. He is a person who cares for me. He is a person who imparts me the knowledge and thus helps me to grow in my life. Thus a teacher has a very significant contribution. Yesterday we were talking about those who have significant contributions in our life. This is again the uniqueness of Vedic culture, where the Vedas look upon ourselves as a member of like the cosmic family. The whole cosmos is like family. And in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it is said that this family is made up of 5 kinds of living beings. Those living beings who have contributed and continue to contribute something in our life. First of all, the Vedas draw attention to this fact that understand that you are what you are on account of the contributions of many in this universe. When we are driving, we are talking how sun, SUN sun, has a significant contribution in our life. What we are is nothing but the manifestation of energy of the sun. Whatever there is on the earth is nothing but the manifestation of the energy of sun. Therefore, you look upon sun as a devata. There's a verse which says, Namas Savitre Jagadeka Chakshushe. Hey Savita, O Surya, O God's Son, my salutation to you. Jagadeka Chakshushe. You are the one eye. God sees everything through the eye of the sun. Not only that, but sun provides the light because of which we are able to see also. The sun makes it possible for us to see. We are also told that sun in fact resides in our eyes and the fraction of the sun resides in our eyes, and that is how the sight is possible. So sight and seeing is possible because of sun. Namasavitre Jagadeka Chakshushe Jagat Prasudhi Sthiti Nasha Hetave. The sun is responsible for the creation, sustenance, dissolution of this whole universe. Earth has emerged from the sun, is sustained by the sun. If sun were not there, there would be no life on the earth anyway. Then even earth would not have been there at all also. The sun is responsible for creation, sustenance, dissolution. Constantly creation is going on. New shoots are created. New flowers are created. This constant creation in nature is due to sun. And whatever has served the purpose, like in the field also, you have this corn, all these, they get ripened and then they fall off. They are also due to sun. So sun is responsible for creation, for growth, for sustenance, for destruction. That's how the whole cycle of creation, sustenance, destruction is kept going by the sun. Our sages recognize this. And therefore, sun is not merely a sphere of fire, sun is a devata. So, looking upon the whole universe as a divine manifestation. This is their attitude. What you see, of course, are sun and the moon, the fire, etc., looking upon them as the divine manifestations or manifestation of divinity. And therefore, we seek their grace. We seek the grace of Ishvara in our life. We seek the grace of this deities or devatas in our life. And therefore, there is this regular worship. Every morning, in the Vedic times, they would be performing what they call Sandhya Vandanam, which is Vandanam, the sun salutation, saluting and praying to sun. The famous Gayatri mantra is also a prayer to sun. Tat savitur varenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yona prasodayat. We meditate upon the divine and adorable light of sun. May he inspire our thoughts. May he elevate our thoughts. So our thoughts are flowing in all directions. We want that our thoughts should be elevated. They should flow in the upward direction. So that as the thought, so the man is. So more noble the thoughts are, more noble I become. And I pray to sun, who is the God of light. And light stands for knowledge. So sun also we look upon as the presiding deity of knowledge. And sun also resides in ourselves as our own self. So may he is the witness of all my thoughts. May he elevate my thoughts. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Let there be thoughts of dharma or righteousness in my mind. Let there be thoughts of moksha, of liberation in my mind. Let there be thoughts of self-growth. Yesterday we talked of being a contributor and from a consumer. Why contributor? Because contribution. In Bhagavad Gita, this is called yajna or the sacrifice. The whole universe is based on sacrifice. Every element of the universe performs sacrifice, meaning performs offering. You can see the sun sitting there is constantly sacrificing, meaning offering itself. Sitting there, sun does a lot of work. What is evident to us, of course, it illumines the world, gives energy, same time sitting there. Because of the heat, evaporates the water, converts that vapor into clouds. He creates the patterns of the air or the wind, clouds are carried from one place to the other and they are made to shower rain. All of this possible because of sun. The sun is a devata. We look upon sun as a live entity. We do not look upon the sun or the universe as something that is matter or something that is inert. We look upon that as something which is live and manifestation of consciousness. As you know very well, as far as the science is concerned, the physics is concerned, the basic reality is matter. For them, the consciousness is the manifestation of matter. As far as Vedanta is concerned, the basic reality is consciousness, and we say that matter in fact is the manifestation of consciousness. And so the whole universe is a manifestation of consciousness. It's all divine. Everything is divine. We say that. So ask anybody in India, where is God? I think a general answer will be, God is here or God is everywhere. And this is an attitude. It's a reality also, but attitude based on reality. So we are talking about the contribution that these aspects of the nature have in our life, and now we should also become a contributor. Tomorrow perhaps also we will talk about this contribution more in the evening. But coming back to the attitude, healthy attitude, said, Matu Deva Bhava, Pitu Deva Bhava, Acharya Deva Bhava. Look upon Acharya. Well, Acharya means Guru. So Guru means, of course, when it dispels the darkness of ignorance, Acharya. With Acharya, but Acharya also says, Achinochita Shastrani. The one who corrects all the Shastras, scriptures, meaning one is very well versed in the scriptures. Swam Acharati, one who puts the learning of scriptures into his own life. One who makes others also to follow. So the teacher puts into his life the teaching of the scriptures, at the same time makes the disciple also to follow those teachings. Therefore, he is called Acharya. This is one attitude. And that attitude, you see, otherwise, some people used to, when they come to university, they calculate how much fee are we paying, how many hours of classes we are getting. And so this professor's job is to make sure that he gives us the classes for that many hours. You calculate how many dollars you are paying for 1 hour of his classes. So look upon him merely as a provider, nothing more than that. So teacher is looked upon as a provider. We look upon him as much more than that. So when we have this reverence for the teacher, not only the teacher teaches us through his words, but teacher also blesses us. So with the Devata, Devata is the one who blesses us, meaning that whose favor is a blessing to us. So not only we study from the teacher, we want the blessing of the teacher, so that our study becomes successful. We want blessings of the mother, we want blessings of the father, we want blessings of the teacher. Because we are needy. We need to gain success in our life, and all these blessings are very important for a successful life. Just to recapitulate what we talked yesterday, for the benefit of those who were not here yesterday. Yesterday we talked about the attitude mainly towards the Artha and the Kama. Where the Vedas talk of the Chaturveda Purushartha, the fourfold Purushartha, or the fourfold human ends. Human being, what the human being is seeking can be divided into these four categories: Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. We are seeking Kama. We are seeking pleasure or sense gratification. The immediate need is to seek the sense gratification, seeking pleasure. So entertain ourselves, that is the first impulse that we have. Whenever desires for finding gratification is reasonably satisfied, then we seek another kind of gratification. Let's go, gratification of ego. So we are not just satisfied merely by eating good food, watching movies, listening to music. These are all the pleasures obtaining at the level of senses, so that is okay. But when we have these pleasures in reasonable measure, then we seek something else, and that is, we want gratification of ego. I want power, I want respect, our name, fame, recognition. That also is a pleasure. But at a different level, that is a pleasure of gratification we seek at the level of the ego. It's called artha. So, artha, kama. Kama is sense gratification, artha is the ego gratification. This ego is a very insecure entity. Therefore, the ego also sees security in artha. Where the artha, the immediate meaning of artha is wealth, but that also includes the name and fame and recognition and power. All of these are included in the word artha. So I look upon this artha, wealth and power, as means of security. At the same time, I look upon them as a means of my ego gratification. Because after all, how much money do you require for sustaining life? You do require money, no doubt about that. But then, I am not satisfied with money. We said yesterday that how the equation of money is na vittena tarpanyo manushya. It said in Upanishad that a human being can never be satisfied or content with money, can never be satisfied with name or fame or recognition. That cannot be satisfaction. So we should know this reality about these worldly accomplishments, that we need the wealth, we need name also, we need some recognition. All of that is required for a certain amount of ego gratification. Now in the beginning, we encourage a child to gratify the ego. When we talk to children or youngsters, we don't talk about vairagya. We don't talk about dispassion. We do not talk about renunciation. We talk about achievement. Because a youngster is not ready for any kind of renunciation, etc. He wants to, at the moment, he is in a situation where what is most important is ego gratification. Let's call success. So success is what brings the what? Ego gratification. So when we talk about with the children, then we say that, alright, go ahead and strive to achieve as much as you want. So what education should we give to our children? Education in terms of the basic values and attitudes. That in the process of achieving your goals, make sure that you do not compromise the means for the sake of the end. Meaning that what you achieve through fair means. Let there be fairness, let there be honesty, let there be justice in your life. So teach this to your children. Swami, why not we teach Vedanta to children right from the beginning? Children are not ready for Vedanta. Vedanta is based upon the goal as moksha. Meaning when does the spiritual growth begin? When a person recognizes that moksha is my goal, then alone renunciation is possible. Until it is not possible. And a child or youngster is too young, too preoccupied. The mind and the hormones are as yet not available for thinking about anything else other than go getting and achieving. And therefore, we will encourage them, and also it helps them find ego gratification. Before we give up the ego, it is important that there is certain ego gratification. There is certain amount of what we call self-acceptance. And so, this self-acceptance also becomes a value. Accepting myself is a very important value. At the same time, we should recognize that there is no end to amount of gratification we can provide to ego, Because ego gratification is like fire, and more you satisfy the fire, more intense and demanding the fire becomes. More butter you pour in the fire, or more fuel you give to the fire, more demanding the fire becomes. So also, more you try to satisfy the ego, more demanding the ego becomes. So that is where the spirituality comes. The first step is a reasonable gratification of ego. When I feel that I have achieved something in my life, I feel good about myself. And then I have to realize that ultimately there must be a different source for feeling good about myself. In the beginning, the source is achievement. In the second stage, the source is manifestation of the wholeness from myself. So yesterday we talked about attitude towards the artha. That one can never be satisfied with artha. One can never gain ultimate satisfaction from wealth or the power or name or fame, and therefore that artha does not deserve to be the goal of our life. Meaning, wealth does not deserve to be the goal of our life. Power or recognition do not deserve to be goal of the life. They cannot become the end of the goal, they have to become the means. The Swamiji, if wealth is not my goal, then why is so much importance given to wealth? Well, the wealth can empower me to become a contributor from a consumer. This is what we talked about yesterday. Secondly, we talked about the attitude towards kama, towards the pleasures. So seeking pleasures or seeking sense gratification also is the same thing, that there can no end to seeking gratification. More you satisfy your sense organs, more they demand. Therefore, that's what we call the boundaries. In our life, we must learn how to draw boundaries. Lord Krishna says how there should be boundaries in everything that we do. Yukta har viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, yukta swapnavodasya yogo bhavati dukkha. Lord Krishna says there must be a sense of proportion. There must be an alertness, a sense of proportion, a boundary in ahara, in the food, vihara, in the movement. Meaning that in the food there must be boundary, in movement, boundary. In any activity that you perform, there should be an alertness, a sense of proportion. What to do, what not to do, an alertness must be there. Yukta cheshtasya karmasu. For example, in talking, also what to talk, how much to talk, when to talk. What talking, Lord Krishna says, Anudvegikaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat swadhyaya vyasanam chayava vangmayam tapochyate. Speech. Let there be austerity of speech. Speech is a great wealth, and therefore don't squander it. So when you decide to speak, what's the attitude? Lord Krishna says, Anudvegikaram vakyam. Make sure that your words do not create udvega, do not hurt anybody, do not perturb somebody. Satyam. When you talk something, let it be truthful, as you know it. Priyam. You speak truth, speak a truth in a pleasant manner. So speak truth all right, but then speak truth which is pleasant. So sometimes people speak truth all right, but in a very hurtful manner. Sometimes people use truth as a weapon to hurt people. I always speak truth. And then in that process, I hurt people. I use my words as arrows to shoot people. So no, satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat. You speak truth all right, but then speak in a pleasant manner. But Swamiji, truth is always bitter. Truth is not bitter, our mind is bitter. So what happens is, the bitterness in our mind is brought out with an excuse of the speaking truth. So So truth becomes an excuse for bringing out my own bitterness that I may have for somebody. Never speak truth and speak truth in a pleasant manner. Na bruya satyama priyam. You find that you cannot speak truth in a pleasant manner, then better don't speak. Swamiji, isn't speaking truth our duty? No. Speaking truth is not our duty. If we decide to speak, then we should speak truth. That's all. But you can choose not to speak. Thus, be always alert with reference to your words. Be alert with reference to all your activities, all the movements of hands, movements of legs, all activities that you perform. Let there be an alertness, let there be a sense of proportion, let there be moderation, let there be boundaries. So this way, this alertness or becoming awareful, what the Buddhists call the mindfulness. So the Buddhas, they call it the mindfulness. That there be mindfulness in every activity. Your mind should be where your body is. Your mind should be like in the dance, they teach this. In Bharatanatyam they have this sutra, very famous verse, where it says, Yato hasta, tato drishti, where the hand is, that is where your sight is. Yato drishti, tato manaha, where your sight is, that is where your mind is. Where the mind is, that is where the attitude is, rasa is. Therefore, this dance teaches us the alertness, the togetherness of the personality. Then let there be a togetherness of the personality, and that happens, let there be, the personality should be well harmonized. That happens by being alert. So, that was said here. Anyway, what I am saying is that even when you are enjoying, do enjoy the things. Vedanta does not say that there should not be any pleasure in the life. There should not be enjoyment. It doesn't say that. In fact, the whole universe is created for our enjoyment. Only Vedanta teaches us how to enjoy. If you do not know how to enjoy, then things will start enjoying you. They say that you eat the food, let the food not eat you. My own experience, you drink tea, let not the tree drink you. So how can tea drink you? But yes, tea drinks me. For 21 years I never had a cup of tea. I never tasted tea or coffee. I became an engineer. I started working in a big organization. In our department, I was working and there were other engineers also along with us. Every morning at 9:30 in the morning, these people used to assemble in a room and have a nice cup of tea. So there was what they call a pune. In India there is this creature called pune. In US you don't have. Who is a pune? Who does things for you? A servant. Bring the file there, get a glass of water, bring the, no such thing in the United States. You get your own water and get your own coffee. Even the chief executive, at the most his secretary may do something for him. Otherwise, nobody has anything to say. But there, a pune would make tea for all these engineers and bring and serve them. But I did not drink tea, so I could not join them. You see, when you sit with them and don't do what they do, then you don't become one with them. And that's why I could not become part of them, because I did not drink tea. Therefore, I really missed the fun. All those fellows are having fun, sitting there and enjoying talking, and I missed that fun. So I said, just to have fun with them, I decided to start drinking a cup of tea. 1 cup of tea in the morning, 1 cup of tea in the afternoon. Because afternoon also they used to have a tea. That's all. This went on for a few months. One day I would go to work on a weekend. Weekend the office was closed, Sunday the office was closed, there was no pune, there was no canteen, there was no tea. And I was doing my work. 9:30 passed, 9:45, 10 o'clock, I I started getting a headache. By 10:30, I had nausea. 11 o'clock I threw up. I had a severe headache, nausea, vomiting. I did not know all of what happened to me. This happened a few times on the Sundays when I had to go to work. Then I realized that no tea, when you don't get tea, that is when you have these headaches and nausea. Meaning that I was addicted to tea. From then on, I was always worried. I must make sure that I have my cup of tea before 7 o'clock in the morning. If I miss that time, by 8 o'clock I will surely get headache. Afternoon, the tea must come before 3:30. If I did not have it, I will surely get the headaches. If headache does not come, I will invite it because I think headache will come. Headache will come. I meditate on headaches. I started meditating on tea and meditating on headache. This is what it is. So, it is not I who was drinking. In the beginning, I was drinking tea. Later on, tea started drinking me. In the beginning, you smoke a cigarette. In course of time, cigarette starts smoking you. Now, these are the examples of addiction. They are all well-known examples. But understand that every kind of sense pleasure is an addiction. Therefore, what we call innocent pleasures in moderation. Innocent means what? Those which are not hurtful. Innocent pleasures in moderation. Therefore, Lord Krishna teaches moderation in everything that you do. Yukta ahara viharasya, in ahara food, moderation. You eat the food, let not the food eat you. Swamiji, today we had this gulab jamun, This gulab jamun is my weakness. When I see gulab jamun, I just can't resist. And so, whether it's good for me or not, even though doctor may have declared that Swamiji, you already have too much sweet within yourself, and they will stop this, and still, when I see gulab jamun, I cannot control. Or before I do anything, think about it. One goes in my head, pop up in my mouth. It is not I who is eating the gulab jamun, it is gulab jamun that is eating me. Then I have lost control over myself. I have become addicted to things. So Upanishad says, Tena Chaktena Bhunjitha. You enjoy everything, but make sure that you do not get addicted to anything. That's called alertness. Or that is called the moderation, sense of proportion, or alertness that I do not get addicted to something. Addiction means dependence. Addiction means bondage, meaning I am controlled. That should be a value for freedom. Make sure that you retain your freedom under all conditions. And you are not controlled by anything. There was this king who always was riding on a horse, and the horse, the rein always was with him. So when he rides the horse, he controls the horse. Once the king was invited to ride an elephant. So king rode the elephant. He says, "Where is the rein?" "Sir, there is no rein on the elephant." He got down. "I cannot sit on something which I cannot control." So understand that the freedom should be a great value, and we have to really retain our freedom. All along, freedom is a value. You know why? Because we love freedom. Nobody loves bondage. When is there happiness? There is happiness when there is freedom. There cannot be happiness in bondage. And when we talk about this freedom or happiness, one of the important things to know is to know where is this happiness. And understanding about this brings about the attitudes, values and attitudes. Where is the happiness? So, answer is very well known. Vedanta will say that happiness is not out there. So this wealth becomes a value because human being looks upon wealth as a means of happiness. Power becomes valuable to me because I look on power, name, fame, recognition as means of happiness. The pleasure of senses, I look upon them as means of happiness. So good food, I look upon it as means of happiness. Good music, entertainment, traveling, all kinds of activities, all of these are looked upon as means of happiness. Vedanta teaches that look, happiness is not to be found anywhere outside of you. Happiness is to be discovered through your own self. This is the fundamental truth about our life. And as yet, this can only be taught to people who have gained a certain amount of maturity, gained a certain amount of happiness, certain amount of accomplishment in life. So that our sight now can be turned from extrovertedness to introvertedness. Kathopanishad says, Paranchikhani Vyatma Swayambhu Tasmat Parang Pashyati Nantaratman. There is a natural affinity, the sense organ self for the sense objects, and therefore the mind always looks out seeking happiness. It never looks at itself. Nantaratman, the mind never looks at its own self where the happiness is. Therefore man looks at everywhere, doesn't look where it is, That is the reason why there is a general frustration or disappointment in life. Because I look upon wealth, power, recognition as the source of security, as the source of happiness, and I have not made an effort to discover the happiness where it really is. This story, I don't know whether I have told you earlier or not, the story about these two persons traveling in a train compartment, the first class coupe compartment, these two persons are traveling together from Chennai to Delhi, Madras to Delhi. In the olden days, that the trains were slower, so that journey from south to north would take quite some time. See, first class coupe compartment, there are only two passengers, the lower berth and the upper berth. On the lower berth was a very wealthy person from Chennai, a multi-millionaire, crorepati, who was supposedly carrying a lot of cash money in his briefcase going to Delhi. What for he must be going to Delhi with cash that you can yourself imagine, Anyway, so he was traveling from Madras to Delhi with a lot of 1,000 rupee notes, bundles and bundles of these notes, carrying in his briefcase. The other fellow who was traveling in the upper berth was a thug, a thief from Delhi. Delhi is well known for the thieves also. And so, the other fellow is a thief from Delhi, traveling in the same he made sure that he gets the ticket in the same compartment. He got it. He's traveling in the upper berth. He doesn't look like a thief, he's well dressed so nobody would suspect. But he was a thief. And he had his eyes on this fellow's cash money. So this chap also is a big guru, this businessman, also a big guru. In the afternoon they are both sitting, one here and the other here. This businessman takes out his briefcase, opens the briefcase in such a manner that the lid of the briefcase hides what is behind the briefcase, so other person cannot see what is behind the briefcase, behind the lid. And then he is counting his bundle of money. But the thief, of course, is very smart. So the corner of his eye is here, he saw that he is counting money. And that's what the money is. So he made a note in his mind that all the cash money is in the briefcase. Alright, comes evening, both of them get ready for their dinner, they get ready for the night, go to the bathroom, wash their face, etc., come back, the bed is prepared for them, they lie down. The rich man, the businessman lies down and starts sleeping, the other fellow is on the upper berth. After a while, this thief, he heard the snoring, he knew that now this fellow is fast asleep. So he quietly comes down. The thieves are like cats, you know. The moment you cannot even make out. Like then he comes down. He goes to that briefcase, opens the briefcase, there is all kinds of keys with him. No money in the briefcase? So what happened? I saw the money in the afternoon. What happened to the money? Maybe he's hiding in some other luggage. So all these brief suitcases and etc. Also this fellow opened and checked everything. No money. Disappointed, he went up to his berth and slept that night. Next day came, again in the afternoon, they are sitting, chatting. At that time again that businessman takes out his briefcase, opens the lid, starts counting something. Same money is counting. Again this fellow saw, hey, the money is in briefcase? What happened? I did not find it last night. Where is he hiding then? One more night they have. So he decided that tonight, anyway, I will definitely find out this money. Maybe this fellow is hiding on his body. I'll check everywhere. Second night the same thing. This fellow went to sleep. This thief also went to sleep. And this businessman started snoring. That fellow comes down, checks the briefcase, no money, checks all suitcases, no money, checks, now he checks his body also. No money anywhere? He could not find money anywhere. Most frustrated, he went back to his berth and started sleeping again. Now Delhi is reaching. He is very close next morning and having a cup of tea. That businessman again opened his briefcase and started counting money. This fellow is flabbergasted. What happened? So this thief tells the businessman, says, look, let me introduce myself to you. I am a famous thief from Delhi. But you are my guru. You are my guru, and therefore I am here expressly for your money. But I don't want your money. I just want to know where were you hiding your money. In a place where this fellow would never suspect. Where were you hiding the money? How come I could not find it? He says, well, I was hiding it under your pillow. Place you would never suspect. So also a human being is looking for happiness everywhere. In the wealth, in the name, in fame, recognition, here, everywhere on the earth, below the earth, above in the heaven, everywhere is looking. But not looking where it is, namely in his own self. So this is one important value, or the drishti, the perception, the vision that Vedanta provides, that what you are seeking in your life is to be found from your own self. This is the reality of our life. What is the reality? That in fact what I am searching for is to be found from myself. The happiness or the security is to be found from myself. Otherwise, a lot of disappointment comes. I look upon money as security, my position as security. These things are all fleeting. They are there now, they may not be there tomorrow. And therefore, sooner than later, let me find out that security is to be discovered for myself. And that is where a contributor comes. More a contributor you are, more you discover the happiness from yourself. Meaning that more you give happiness, more you discover happiness from yourself. Vedanta teaches that to become happy, make others happy. That's what we say to husband when they get married. When a couple comes for our blessing, we say that, look, this is bride and the groom, both are there. I say, look, have a simple rule in your life. What simple rule? The husband should make the wife happy. The wife should make husband happy. So that's a great thing. Because when you have family, you don't have to go out. all the possibilities are in your own home, and therefore husband has all the, that is why the parivar, that's why the family is there, and that's why you have a field of, of activity, and the people who are attached, you are attached to, people whom you love, and therefore make them happy. What is the matter of making happy? Make them happy without any expectation of the return of favor. We do things, all right, but in our mind we have an expectation as to what they should do in return. Says, no, do this for the sake of doing it. So this is where we come to a very important attitude towards what we call karma, or to the action that we perform, and karma phala, the result of the action. Two very important attitudes taught in the Bhagavad Gita are one towards action, other is towards the outcome of the action. And this is also expressed very well by the anonymous prayer, which is a wonderful prayer which says, Lord, give me the serenity. It's called the serenity prayer. God, give me the serenity to accept gracefully what I cannot change. In this statement, there is a recognition that there are things I cannot change, there are things that I cannot control. This is a reality of life, that I do not call all the shots, I do not control everything. I can control something very limited. Give me courage to change what I can. It's not that I am totally helpless, that there is something that I also in my control, so I have free will. And therefore, although free will is limited, I do have a free will with which I also control a few things. So when it comes to controlling what I can control, give me courage to control what I can. So attitude of graceful acceptance to what I cannot control. Lord Krishna says, Karmanyavadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Here Arjuna, you have the freedom with reference to your effort. You do not have freedom to determine the outcome of the effort. Karma and karma phala, effort and outcome of the effort. That makes our whole life. What is our life? In life, we constantly do things. And karma is any activity that you perform. Any action that you perform is called karma. Any deliberate action that you perform is called karma. We keep performing deliberate actions. In fact, it is a privilege of human being to be able to perform karma. No other creature has a free will. As best as we know, no other creature has a free will. Only human being has a free will. Therefore, we can exercise free will to perform the karma. Therefore, only human being is capable of performing what we call deliberate action. Action the dogs and cats also perform, no deliberation. They only act instinctively, they do not deliberate. There is no premeditated action. A dog doesn't have premeditated action, it barks on the spur of the moment. So all of these things, they act on the instinct. Whereas human being has the freedom to meditate, to deliberate, and decide what to do, what not to do. Has the freedom to stay away from what is harmful. The freedom to do what is helpful. The free will. Therefore, proper exercise of free will. Because by using the free will properly, I can achieve the goal of my life. By abusing the free will, I can hurt myself. That is why I cannot help myself or hurt myself. Both possibilities are there in the human being. So Lord Krishna says, exercise free will wisely while performing action. While performing action, pay attention to action. And as far as outcome is concerned, leave it to Ishvara. Accept the outcome gracefully. Now, this morning we had performed a ceremony. See, when you perform a worship, an act of worship, in the Vedic culture, when we worship a Devata, for example, they worship a deity or God, we make various offerings. And one of the offerings is food. So worshipping Devata is like treating a revered guest. A revered guest, first of all, you invite him. When he comes to your home, you welcome him. Give him a nice seat. You wash his feet. In the olden days, people would be traveling a long distance, and therefore you wash the feet because the person will be tired. So washing feet also was a ritual. Give him water to drink. Give him nice bath. Give him good clothes, good ornaments, flowers. Make archana, meaning that offer flowers uttering the names of God. Give him food, show him the light, do the prostrations. So these are called upacharas or different steps involved in worshipping each God. One of the important steps is offering food. It's called Naivedya. Naivedya is Nivedanam. Nivedanam means offering. So what we offer to God is called Naivedya. We offer. And then the Naivedya fortunately comes back to us. What do we call it? We call it Prasada. See, what we offer is not Prasada. When it is offered, it is called Naivedya. When it comes back, it is called Prasada. Same laddu comes back, no change is there. You offer laddu to Lord Ganesha and same laddus, thank God the same laddus come back, equal number of laddus come back. This Ganesha does not eat anything, which is good because the big belly, he starts eating laddus and you are gone therefore, but that's good. Fortunately, he does not need anything. We make offering really for our own sake. But anyway, but when the same laddu comes back from Ganesha, then there is special value. We look upon that as prasada because it brings the blessing from Ganesha. So what the Lord does, the Naivedya he takes, he blesses that and comes back to us with his blessing. So prasada means the grace or the blessing. Now the same food brings blessing. It has a very special value. Inasmuch as we really feel blessed whenever we receive prasada. Our Swami used to say, this man is suffering from diabetes and therefore would not eat sweet. So offering a laddu, he says, no Swamiji, I am diabetic, I cannot eat this. So he says, hey, this laddu comes from Tirupati. So oh, then I will take it. Because prasada has a very special value. You feel blessed. So even if they give you little drop of water, you do this and you do that, or when they give you flower, you touch the flower, your eyes with the flower, you know. Meaning they look upon that with reverence. You have a sense of blessing when you receive prasada coming from the altar. So here, when you perform an action, it is like an offering to Ishvara. Let it be like Naivedya. Lord Krishna says, Swakarmana Tavabhyache Siddhim Vindati Manava. You can make your whole life a worship. It's a matter of attitude. You can make your day-to-day life as worship of Lord. Swakarmana Tavabhyache Siddhim Vindati Manava. Lord Krishna says that we will perform your actions in the spirit of worship. All actions, whatever you do, yad karoshi yadashnasi, whatever you do, walking, talking, eating, drinking, all of these actions can be performed as an offering to Lord. See, that is why you may observe that before eating food, we perform prayers. Traditionally, we chant the 15th chapter of the Gita. This 15th chapter, there are certain verses which refer to the food and eating of the food. Some people ask, why do we chant 15th chapter of the Gita? That is because there are certain verses which has reference to eating. Lord Krishna says, Pushnami chaushadi sarvaha somo bhutva rasatmakaha. As moon. So we look upon moon as rasatmakaha. Moon is nothing but embodiment of rasa, embodiment of juice. So moon is juicy, and provides all the juices to the plants and vegetables. So Pushnami, Lord Krishna says that I provide the nourishment and the juice and the sap to all the plants and vegetables. Now this is known scientifically also that sun is responsible for the growth of the plant and moon is responsible for the nourishment in the plant. Meaning that Lord Krishna says that look, the food that comes before you in your plate is nothing but myself. I alone, through the moon, through the rays, through the sap, through the juice, through the nourishment, I become the food. And therefore, the food which you have in the plate is Ishvara in the form of that food. Then the 15th chapter further says, Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashita Prana Pana Samaritya Pachamyanyam Chaturvidam. Lord Krishna says that I am sitting in the stomach of all living beings as the digestive fire. And I digest it with the help of prana and apana. The incoming breath, outgoing breath, I am digesting the food. Meaning that Ishvara is residing in our stomach also as the digestive fire. So see, in the form of food also, there is God. From the one who digests also is God. Who is eating? Again the 15th chapter says, Sarvasya chaham hrudi sannivishtaha matta smriti jnanam apohanancha. Meaning that Sarvasya chaham hrudi sannivishtaha. I dwell in the heart of all the living beings. Meaning he is dwelling in my heart as my own self. So person who is eating food also is God. What is eaten also is God. To whom it is offered is also God. So therefore you can have bhavana and attitude. A very beautiful attitude is taught with reference to eating food. That this very process of eating food itself can become a yajna, can become a fire ritual. See, the Vedic times, the gods were worshipped through fire rituals, where you kindle the fire in the altar, you invoke the deities in the fire, you make offering in the fire. That's called a yaga or a homa. So you can imagine, you can have the attitude that I am performing a homa while eating the food. So what do you do while performing a homa? With a ladle. You see, you may offer a material such as ghee or clarified butter or milk or curd. This dravya is offered, it's called havi. With a ladle, you take that with a wooden spoon. You take that and offer a part of it into fire while reciting the mantra. This is how the homa goes on. And something similar is happening when we eat food also. Because the food in front of me, I take a morsel of food with my fingers, put it in my mouth, goes into stomach. In the stomach there is fire. So therefore you can say that this is the food is having an oblation. So every morsel of food becomes like an oblation and put in the mouth, goes into the stomach where it is digested by the fire. So you can say that swaha, one morsel of food, swaha. To whom? To the God who is sitting in my stomach as a fire. So food also is Ishvara. Eater also is Ishvara, fire also is Ishvara, whole act of eating also is Ishvara. Brahma, when we chant this mantra, Brahmarpanam, Brahmavehi, Brahmagno, Brahmanahutam, Brahmeva Tena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. Brahmarpanam, the ladle with which you offer also is Brahma. In our case, these fingers also are Brahma or God. Brahma Havihi, the food, the morsel of food that you offer is called oblation. That is also Brahma because that food also is God. Brahmagno, the fire to which is offered also is God because he resides as a digestive fire. Brahmanahutam, the one who offers also is Brahma because he resides in my heart as my very self. The whole act is nothing but the act of, it becomes a divine act, becomes the act of homa. And thus, a simple action of eating food is transformed by attitude. What's that? That's all. What is there is in fact chapati in front of me, and rice, and dal, and sabji, and that is the stuff. But I look upon that as what? As Ishvara's manifestation. What is in my stomach is only digestive fire. But I look upon that also as Ishvara's manifestation. What is there in my heart itself? I look upon that also as Ishvara's manifestation. This is called bhavana, this is called attitude. This attitude transforms a simple act of eating food into the worship of Lord. So Lord Krishna says in this manner, make all your actions worship of Lord. Yat karosi, whatever you do with the attitude of offering to the Lord. This is worship of the Lord. This is the attitude that Bhagavad Gita teaches with reference to karma. Any action that you perform. Any action, Swamiji? Alright. So if I steal, can I offer that also to God? Suppose I tell a lie, you say offer everything to God, so I am stealing now. Can that be offered to God? I am telling a lie. Can I offer that to God? I hope not, because we offer to Ishvara only what is best. We never receive food also. We offer the best and fresh food to God. Our tradition is that we offer to God what is the very best. And therefore, you cannot offer or should not offer a sinful action to Ishvara. Your action must necessarily be dharmic or virtuous action. So number one, when you perform an action, make sure that action is dharmic, meaning that it is in keeping with the dharma, with values. And hope and perform that action in the spirit of worship. Then our whole life can become worship of Lord. This is the attitude, a healthy attitude of converting our life into worship of God. Lord Krishna says, Siddhim Vindati Manavaha. For worship, you cannot go to temple. It's good to go to temple. It's good to have an altar in our home. It's good to perform the act of worship. That is best. That should be done. But at the same time, you have to live your life. You have to perform your day-to-day activities. So how can I make it a worship? Before performing an action, just remind yourself. Tell yourself. This requires again alertness. If you are alert, then it is possible. What is possible? That may Ishvara be pleased by this action. I'm a physician, to perform a surgery, perform a procedure, or whatever I'm going to do. I'm a physiotherapist, what I'm doing with my patient. I'm a shopkeeper, selling something to my clients. Anything that we do. There is a matter of attitude. It is Ishvara who comes before me in the form of the client. Let me serve him the best way. Swamiji, does it mean that I should not take profit? Take the profit, but take reasonable profit. Just because somebody comes to me, don't take undue advantage. Reasonable profit. Because Ishvara is in you also need to sustain yourself, but then let your action be dharmic action. And the attitude is, how can I serve my client? How can I serve my patient? How can I serve my whatever? I may be a lawyer, I may be an engineer, I may be a doctor, an accountant, a farmer, a housewife, whatever I am. So cooking also can be a worshipful act. Swami, you are making tea, what's the big deal about it? When you make the tea, have this attitude. This tea will be drunk, consumed by all these members of my family. Ishvara is in the form of those members. May Ishvara in their heart be pleased by this action by this tea. I am cooking. May Ishvara who will eat this food be satisfied by that. I am doing vacuum cleaning. Then Ishvara will walk on this floor. Let there be no dust there. Let there be, so let him be pleased. This was done. You must have heard the name of Shabari. Shabari was a great devotee of Lord Rama. This is what she used to do. This Shabari used to serve the very sages when she was very young. And she was blessed by her guru, and his name was Matanga Rishi. So sage Matanga is blessed Shabari. Sage told Shabari that God will come to your place. That was a blessing given to her. So that's why Reverend will receive blessings. So now Shabari is waiting for God to come to her place. Don't think that God Rama came to her place on the first day. Years and years it took. She did not know when he would come. So every day she would prepare for him. She would, sweep everything, make everything clean, bring the cow dung, and then plaster the floor with that, create a nice asana, place of sitting for the Lord, get some coal and fresh water, go to forest, get some fresh fruits, and then go along the path and clean the path. Because here the Lord is going to walk, He's going to walk bare feet, and then there should be no pebbles, no thorns, clean everything. But in our case, whether it is everybody is Rama. Whoever walks along this path is Rama. And of course by this worship, Rama actually came in her life. But it is a matter of attitude. Attitude is that Ishvara resides in heart of all. Therefore, everything is a manifestation of divine. But Swami, this fellow is, so hurtful to me. How can I? The fellow will be hurtful to you, all right. But within him, the self which is there is still Ishvara. So we try as best as we can to make our attitude as worshipful as possible. Then our life becomes worship. That's an extremely healthy attitude. You don't do anything differently, you do what you are doing. The attitude is there that may Ishvara, Lord Narayana, Shiva, Krishna, whoever my Ishtadevata is, may be pleased by this. So thus, every action becomes an offering to Lord. And whatever result comes as prasada of the Lord. Accept it gracefully. The Swami's prasada is very bitter. Sometimes prasada is bitter also. Sometimes it is sweet. Sometimes there is just ash. Sometimes there is sugar crystal. Sometimes it is drop of water. Sometimes it may be neem juice, which is very bitter. Prasada can be sour also. When you go to Tirupati, there are long lines. Then different prasada comes, Sometimes it is this big laddu. Sometimes puliyodara. Some different things come. So sometimes you like prasada, sometimes they tasty, sometimes may not be tasty. But we do not judge prasada by the taste, we judge prasada by the fact that it comes from Ishvara. And therefore, whatever situations come to our life, all of these are looked upon as prasada of Ishvara. Situations are pleasant, sometimes they are painful, sometimes favorable, sometimes unfavorable. This is how the life is. Life is like a wheel. Niche gacchati uparichadasha chakradevi kramena. Like a wheel it goes down, it goes up. Sometimes things go down, sometimes they go up. It is never steady. And we should be prepared, meaning that in a worshipful attitude, prepared for whatever the life has to give me. So welcome whatever comes your way. Sometimes success, sometimes failure, sometimes honor, sometimes dishonor, sometimes gain, sometimes loss. Take all of these in their stride. Understand that nothing is permanent. Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, Agama payana anityaha tam stitikshasva bharata. Hey Bharata, hey Arjuna, all the situations, they come and go, nothing is permanent. Neither success is permanent, nor failure is permanent. Neither gain is permanent, neither loss is permanent. Honor is not permanent, dishonor is not permanent. Everything is impermanent. It all goes like a wheel. Never. Do not think that this is the end of life. You know that famous story of this young man. His mother, he loved his mother, the mother also loved him. But his mother passed away when he was still small. And his mother gave him a blessing in the form of one little folded piece of paper. And said that, Take this folded piece of paper, put it in a locket and wear it on your neck. When you are in real trouble, then you open this. So the life went on. Now the young man is living his life and he is successful, at the same time business and so sometimes business came down and down and down and so much that he was left with all kinds of debt. There was no hope in the life at all. He was ready to commit suicide. And he went to the, when the bridge is there over the river, he was going to jump. And that time I remember, my mother has said, hey, this locket is there, the little piece of folded paper is there. She said that you look at it when you are in trouble. So before jumping, you open this. Just a small piece of paper is written, this shall also pass. Meaning that this also will go away. Nothing is permanent. And therefore, dukkha or pain also is not permanent. Failure also is not permanent. Loss also is not permanent. Good also is not permanent. Bad also is not permanent. Therefore, do not get attached. If you get too much attached to success, then failure becomes very fearful. Tena tyaktena gunjita. Do not attach to anything. Enjoy what comes. Attachment is one thing, enjoyment is a different thing. You can enjoy something without being attached. As I say, you can enjoy tea, a cup of tea, without being attached. Make sure that you do not get addicted. You become addicted to success. You become addicted to wealth, addicted to gain, addicted to honor, addicted to prestige, addicted to power, such that we cannot do without them. We think that we will be devastated. What will happen to me when this will not be there with me? Nothing is going to happen. So attitude towards fear. Attitude towards Swamiji says that welcome the fear. That's an interesting thing. I would say that confront the fear. This fear is a very big thing in our life. There is always, everybody is insecure and therefore to some extent or other fear is there in our life. Okay. But when that fear goes beyond a certain proportion, it becomes a big problem in the life. We become, completely pulled down, we become devastated. So, we have to confront the fear. There is a little incident which happened. Somebody was writing. This man was very fond of, he was a European, very courageous and, very adventurous person. Very fond of trekking and climbing the mountains. So one day he decided, I'll go to this Mount Gibraltar. There was a cave he found, he said, I'll go there and I'll spend a night there alone. He went up to the mountain, he found a cave and decided to spend the whole night alone in that cave. Everything became dark, he was lying there and then he started, some sound came and he was scared. Maybe, is that a bear? Is that a wild animal? Every sound comes and he's afraid. Every sound comes, you're afraid. And then at one point he thought, let me see what is there. So, he says, let me hug the fear. Let me embrace the fear. Let the fear come, I'm going to embrace it. He says, the moment I decided to embrace the fear went away. He slept peacefully for the whole night. Never, this fear also is a creature that also has to be confronted. If you run away from that, they used to tell us, when you went to school, you pass through certain streets, there was a street dog who would chase. Said, don't run from these dogs. You run and they will chase you. Confront them and they'll go away. Even Swami Vivekananda's life also is an incident. When he was in Banaras, he was passing through a narrow street and there were monkeys. And this monkey was chasing and he was running away. So one sadhu saw this Swami Vivekananda. He said, what are you doing? Oh, this monkey is chasing me. He said, don't run away. Confront the monkey. So then Swami Vivekananda got courage and confronted. Monkey went away. Thus, this fear also you have to confront. We cannot run away from that. Then it will keep on chasing us. Confront. Okay now. So what do you want? Fear, what do you want? What am I going to do? I'm going to rob away everything. All right, take it. Then what? What more? If you find, we do not confront the situation and therefore we are afraid to confront the situation, you find that you can deal with it. But Swami, what if my job goes away? Get another job. The job is not available. Get a lower job. But my income will go down. Okay. I can't afford to live in this house. Go in an apartment. Go in a small apartment. Take a bigger, give up this bigger car. Scale down. So just as they, what do we do in the big organizations, that they downsize everything. Downsize. What is going to happen? You're not going to die. Understand that for being happy, you do not require anything. That's why it is important to remember always that happiness is to be discovered from within me. Security is to be discovered within me. It is nice to have all these amenities, etc., but all that they can do is to provide me comfort. Nothing can give me security. It's nice to have wealth. You don't say wealth is not required in life. You need it. Need to live your life, need to fulfill your responsibility. That's about all. So you require wealth, you require some name, fame, power, respect, you require. At the same time, that means they are not the end. Don't think that you cannot be without them. You cannot live without them. You are there, they are there because you are not because of them, they are because of you. And ultimately, we will discover the security from our own self by living the life of a contributor, by becoming a giver from being a grabber. Grabber and giver. When the whole world is grabbing, and therefore to live in the world, grabbing world, to become giver is not easy. Protect yourself, at the same time, as best as possible, you maintain the right attitude in your own mind. But then, fear does not serve any purpose at all. By fear, I do not achieve anything. All it does is, it only saps all my energy, my abilities to even face a situation. Therefore, worries, anxieties, fears have no role to play. It also, then there also prasad buddhi comes. Then I am ready to accept gracefully whatever Ishvara will give in future. So far, Ishvara has taken care of it. And there is no reason why he will not take care of me in future. Even when I think that I have achieved this by my own abilities, I must remember that whatever achievements have been there in our life is because of abilities and gifts given by Ishvara. And so he is giving. Let there be prayer in our life. Prayer, God, give me serenity to accept gracefully what I cannot change. Give me courage to change what I can. And therefore, we have certainly need a lot of courage in our life because life demands that we have to accept. Even graceful acceptance requires a lot of strength. It's easy to accept when things are going my way. When they are not going my way, it becomes very difficult to accept. Question arises, why me? Why should it happen to me, Swamiji? When I am doing so much worship of Ishvara, when I am a devotee of Ishvara, why should this happen to me? Well, who knows? Everything can happen to everybody. But when normally they used to say in America, when the going gets tough, the tough get going, When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Going gets tough, the tough get tougher, And so sometimes going gets tough, all right. That has come to make me tough. We need to do some exercise to build our muscles. No resistance, no building of muscles. And therefore, the adversities also come in our life to make us stronger, to make our mental muscles stronger. And therefore, again, having Shraddha in Ishvara, the one who has taken care of me will take care of me. Or whatever he does to me is enough for me. I am willing to accept gracefully whatever he gives. So accept gracefully the attitude of what comes in present, be ready to accept gracefully whatever will come in future. At the same time, have the courage to do. Accepting does not mean I do not respond to situation. I respond. Acceptance means a disposition of mind. What is meant by graceful acceptance is a disposition of mind. What disposition? When the mind does not complain, when the mind does not blame others, does not blame itself. Our problem is that we keep on blaming ourselves. And that takes away a lot of our energy. So what is meant by graceful acceptance is a disposition of mind where I do not blame others, nor do I blame myself. I do not complain, I do not resist, I gracefully accept the situation as it comes. With that kind of a disposition of mind, then I can decide what do I need to do. Graceful acceptance does not mean that I sit with folded hands. Doesn't mean I do not respond. I respond with a mind that enjoys an equanimity. Graceful acceptance gives us the disposition, the equanimity of the mind, the poise of the mind, the balance of mind. Thus, under adverse situation also, graceful acceptance will enable me to maintain a balance of mind. Then alone my mind can work properly. Then I can decide what strategy, what do I have to do. All this I can decide and I can execute provided I have a mind that enjoys balance. So graceful acceptance is an extremely important value. Attitude. It's an attitude. Particularly in situations today, when things are very uncertain, nothing is certain. You see, the way this whole economy works is they make sure that nobody feels secure. It all drives it makes you insecure, and always you are always on your toes, so that you give the most. That's all. They want to extract the most out of you so that they can make the most profit. And more I hear the people, more insecurity I find, meaning the uncertainty. Uncertainty need not make us insecure. Life is uncertain, okay? And be prepared for uncertainty. We'll do whatever is required to be done under those conditions. That preparedness is what is required. For that's called the graceful acceptance, which is an important attitude. Okay, with that I conclude here my talk. Before we disperse, if there are any quick questions anybody has, we can answer them before we conclude this talk. You can write a question, so you can just get up and ask the question. Give them those who want, you know. If somebody wants, you...
Can you expand more on fearless?
The question is, can we expand more on the fearlessness? The fearlessness comes more Shraddha or surrender we have to Ishvara, more fearlessness is there. There is fear because certainly we are not surrendered to Ishvara, and therefore we still do not have the faith that Ishvara protects us. Rakshishati is the Vishwasa. Vishwasa, the faith, the trust that Ishvara will protect me. And He has protected me, He protects everybody. What has happened to anybody? I mean, we find that everybody has survived. And all conditions we find, if you observe around ourselves, we find that people have survived. Even when they lose their job, they survive. They have alternative things to do. And therefore, you can do something else. There can be some change in activity. You can learn some new skills, some new activities, and thus there's always something to do. That we can find out provided our mind is in balance. So fearlessness comes from this trust that Ishvara is God, is my well-wisher. He doesn't punish me. He does not, he's not cruel, but he's always kind, he's always benevolent. Thus I trust in the benevolence of Ishvara, that he is my well-wisher. So Lord Krishna says, Surudam, Surat, I am the well-wisher. Therefore, yes, it is important that there is regular prayer in our life. That prayer creates a little closeness with the Ishvara, and that gives me a little more confidence. So prayer is very important for invoking the grace of Ishvara, and that helps me to proceed with my life. And so fearlessness is something that we cultivate in course of time by Shraddha in Ishvara. There is a saying, possess everything but do not get possessed. Same thing. You say, eat your food, let food not eat you. You drink tea, let not tea drink you. It expresses very well, possess everything, but please do not get possessed by what you possess. You see, what happens is, we become addicted, that's the thing. We become attached and addicted to things such that we cannot do without the thing. Sometimes person becomes attached even to a chair. That I am comfortable only in a certain chair, I cannot do without that chair. I write with a certain pencil, I cannot do without that pencil. So people get attached. If you do not pay attention, it is one thing to write with pencil, another thing that I must only this pencil and no other pencil. This chair and no other chair. This cloth and no other cloth. Thus, we should remain alert in our relationship with even the inert things. Lord Krishna says, Anavishvangaha putra dara gruhadishu. Putra dara gruha. Putra means son, dara means wife, gruha means home. Meaning all these things that are very close to us. That Anavishvangaha, do not get excessively attached to them. So, attachment in terms of taking care is fine. So that my attachment is fine, that I take care of my son, take care of my family, take care of my home, that attachment is fine, but not excessive attachment. That when something happens to them, something happens to me, that kind of relationship we should avoid. And so we become possessed if we are not careful, not alert. That without our knowledge, you can slowly get used to something, attached to something, addicted to something. And that applies not only with reference to the well-known thing that addict like coffee, etc. We get addicted also, as I said, even to furniture. Get addicted to the people around us. We get dependent upon them. So when we become dependent for our emotional security, that is called being possessed by them. So maintain emotional freedom. Enjoy everything, at the same time retaining your emotional freedom.
I have to ask you.
Now let me finish this question. Right, you have written your question? Please enlighten us on moksha. What is moksha? How can one attain moksha? In one lifetime or several lives? Moksha means freedom. Moksha means freedom. And really speaking, freedom is our nature. Therefore, moksha, freedom, comes by knowing the self that is ever free. The self is ever free, and knowing the self that is ever free, you attain the lasting freedom. So knowledge is the means of moksha. For knowledge, however, we require a certain disposition of mind, certain preparation. That is called the purification of mind. Therefore, for moksha, we should live a certain way of life which is as pure as we can. We should make our life as pure as we can, our attitudes as noble as possible, our values as good as possible, make our life as pure as possible so that we gain purity of mind. In that purity of mind, when we study the scriptures, we get the knowledge and we get the liberation. So moksha means liberation, which comes by the knowledge that liberation or freedom is my nature. Atma, so self-knowledge is the means of moksha. For self-knowledge, study of the scriptures is the means. For study of the scriptures, purity of the mind is the means. The first step, purification of mind by the attitudes and values that we discussed today. Number 2, study of the scriptures. And number 3, gaining the knowledge through that process. It can, how long will it take? Well, it doesn't matter how long it takes. What is most important is our commitment. Enjoy what you are doing, then how long it will take will not remain very important. Spiritual realization is near to moksha. How? That's what we just talked about. What is spiritual realization? Knowing myself truly as to what I am. Right now I know myself, but know myself wrongly, and the wrong notions or concept about my own self. I think that I am a man, I am a woman, I am happy, unhappy, but that is all the property of the costume that we are wearing. I am a union of person and personality. This body, mind, sense complex is the personality. I am the person, the self. I should know the distinction between the person and personality of self and non-self. And that realization brings the moksha. What is the difference between loving and liking? Ideally, in love, there is always a concern for the one whom I love. I may like a certain thing, I may like food, I may like good clothes, I may like many such things, but there may not be love for them. In love, there is a care and concern. So love can be generally for a living being, whom I can care. Love can be for a living being. That can be a plant also. It can be an animal. Of course it can be human beings, it can be friends, it can be others. So love is that in which there is a spirit of caring, giving. In love, there is always happiness in the happiness of the other. So love involves giving happiness. Being happy by making other person happy. That's what love is. Liking may be love, may not be love. But love of course is liking. Liking may not be love. Okay, I guess with this we conclude with a prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate